It's a serious topic, eh? Okay, I agree. Now, I'm going to ask us to look at or to attempt to define marital distress by going through a process of some sorts, okay, where we assess ourselves. Now, this instrument was prepared not by me, but by actual scientists and researchers. The names are on the screen there. And I'm going to ask you to look at that. Now, I'm going to ask 10 questions. You will give yourself a number. I see some of you are writing. So you will write the number that defines your situation. If you are a number one says, everything is fine. My family and I are in no crisis at all. We are very fine, we are happy, we are super excited about our situation. If that's you, if that defines your marriage, please give yourself the number one. Everything is okay with you. Now, if you are saying everything is fine, but sometimes we have our difficulties, give yourself a number two. So you can only choose one, eh? You can't write number one and then number two and number three. You are with all of them. Just choose the one that defines your situation. Because what we are doing, we are checking the level of distress in your marriage or in your family situation. Okay, number three. Things are sometimes stressful, but we can deal with problems as they arise. If you are in number three, just write number three. I will repeat these statements a few times so that you can decide whether you are number one or number six or number seven. Are we now at number four, eh? Okay. Things are often stressful. Do you see? We've moved from sometimes. We are now with often. Things are often stressful, but we are managing to deal with problems when they arise. It sounds the same, but it's not. Okay? Number five. Things are very stressful, but we are getting by with a lot of effort. We have to work because things are stressful. Number six. We have to work extremely hard every moment of every day to avoid having a crisis. Do you know those days when you don't want to go home? Yeah, if you are with number six, just write number six. Okay? If you are with number seven, here's number seven. We won't be able to handle things soon. If one more thing goes wrong, we will be in crisis. Number eight, we are actually in crisis, but we are dealing with it ourselves. We're actually in a crisis, but we're dealing with it ourselves. And then number nine, we are currently in crisis and have asked for help from outside people. Might be the pastor, might be a professional therapist or a counselor. And then number 10, we are currently in crisis and it could not get any worse. So, if you are at number one, we are okay. There's nothing wrong with us. Number two, everything is fine. But sometimes we have our difficulties. Number three, things are sometimes stressful. But we are dealing with the problems as they arise. Number four, things are often stressful, but we are managing to deal with the problems when they arise. Number five, things are very stressful, but we are getting by with a lot of effort. Number six, we have to work extremely hard every moment of every day to avoid having a crisis. And number seven, we won't be able to handle things soon. If one more thing goes wrong, we'll be in crisis. Or you are with number eight, we are currently in crisis, but we are dealing with it ourselves. And then number nine, we are currently in crisis and we've asked for outside help. And then number 10, we are currently in crisis and it could not get any worse. Now, please do not tell us what number you chose, because that's a private matter for you and your spouse to deal with. But I'm going to tell you now what I've observed in the room, and I hope I'm wrong. It's mostly women who are writing. Do I have a witness? Yeah. No, I didn't say none of the men wrote. My brother here wrote. You also wrote. Yeah, he's raising his head. He also wrote. It's mostly women who are writing. And that there is one of the main reasons why couples are in distress. Because we, the men, we don't see anything wrong with whatever situation we are in. It goes like this. The light is telling you in the car, sir, you need to put petrol in this car. And your wife is noticing that you are ignoring the light. And so she, believing that you won't ignore her, starts telling you, sir, this car needs petrol. She has changed from baby or honey or whatever she's calling you to sir. Or she calls you by your first name. Telling you, you must put petrol in this car. Ah, I had this car before I met you. I know my car. I know my car. And then you get stuck. And so he now has to hike. And the woman is so, or the wife is so upset that she starts, shouting and carrying on. And the guy is hiking because he now needs to get fuel. I know my car. And this is what we do with our marriages. This thing will work itself out. My wife is just having one of those moments. I'm a man, I know what I'm talking about. My wife is just having one of those moments. She's overreacting. And so I'm looking at us. I'm looking at what's happening in the room. My observation, from where I am standing, it's mostly the women who are writing. And that there, as I've said to you, is what is our reality. When there's a problem, it is mostly women, wives, who ask for help. I've only been asked once, and I started pastoring in 2010. I've only been asked once by a man for help. All others were women. In my entire ministry, I've only been asked once by a man for intervention. Please make a note of that. Okay, you've chosen your number, eh? You've chosen your number? Everybody has chosen their number. Others kept it here, or they are keeping it here in the mind, that my number is number 1. Okay, now, I'm hoping that everybody brought their smartphones with them. You brought your phone? I brought mine, but it's not of any help to me now, because I don't have your network thing here. Whether you are using iPhone or whatever phone you are using, please do me a favor. I need you to do an exercise, because part of the process of dealing with distress and with our challenges is us getting to understand ourselves. Please park the items that I've raised with you. Do you see that link there underneath exploring our differences? Do you see? If you go into Android or to your Play Store, you go to your Play Store or you go to your iStore or whatever store you are using, and you'll download Personality Match. It's an app. Personality Match. Just type that in there. Is Android giving it to you? Please don't write it on a paper, write it on the phone, because you need to download the app now if you have data. Otherwise, they must give us the Wi-Fi password of the church. for this exercise. Personality match. Did you find it? Does it look like that? Does the app look like? Yes, that is the one. It's that app that has the colorful men. Did you see it? It's got 3 colorful men: yellow, turquoise, and blue. Do you see that? Can you download that and then you do the personality test? They ask you a number of questions. Yeah, you and your person. I'm hoping everybody's sitting with their person, those who came with their person. You are sitting with your person? No? You are sitting, yes, I know, I can see you are sitting with your person. Who is not sitting with their, or who is sitting with their person? Let me not ask who's not sitting with their person. Who's sitting with their person? Can we see the hands? Yeah. Please do your exercise on your phone. Yeah, install the app and then you start. You answer the questions that they are asking you. Can you see? Just type their personality match. You'll download the app. We are actually doing a personality test now. How much time do we have? It should take you 5 minutes to do it. They ask you a number of questions. Can you see? Yeah, my brother here is doing it. Yeah, you're putting your name, your email address, then you verify it, and then you create your password there. Then you verify the email. Yes, and then you put in a password, and then you confirm the password. You are signing up. There we go. You see the personality test? Start here. Okay, it says start here. Now they are asking, you're waiting in a long line. You chat with the person next to you. You keep your eyes on your phone. Which one is normally you? So he's choosing. He's one. She's writing on WhatsApp this thing. Oh. Okay. My sister here started. Okay. You'll answer. I see everybody's getting it. So you'll answer the questions. And when you're done with the exercise, it will give you your results. And we will ask some of you to share your results with us. Because this issue is part of how we get into distress to begin with. Is it working? Who is having problems with the app? Everybody's clear? You're having a problem, ma'am? Let's help you. Personality match. Sorry, excuse me. Hey, this one is asking about buying. What must I buy? Your phone is frozen. Can you restart it? No, don't type that. Just go to the Play Store, Google Play Store. Just go to Google Play Store and then you download the app. That one. It's free. The only thing that it's asking for is your data, which is not free. The app, personality match. I see some of you are moving quite fast. Is it working? Yes, it's working with some. Just let us know when you are done. Whoever is done first, let us know that you are done. Is it telling you now? I see. Is it? It's not telling you. What is it doing? Is it thinking? No, it's not full. Internet. Others are sharing their results with the person next to them, and that person is saying, I told you. I told you. Is it frozen? It's fine. You will do it. You will do it when the data is there. They will send your results to you, to your email. Anybody who's done? Not yet? You're ready? Okay, good. Is your person ready? Help her. Help her, please. Okay. What? Yes, at the end of the test. And you are not agreeing. Ne? Are you agreeing with it? You are not sure, is it really you? Yeah, ma'am, they want your email address. Whose phone is it? They want your email address, and then you'll put the email address again. Okay, you got it? You are done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Is your person also done?
Almost.
Almost. Okay.
Where are the results?
They are there.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Now, let's hear. Are you okay with sharing yours?
I can share the first one.
The first one. Okay, let's hear.
Creative, smart, and charming.
Okay. And the other ones? You're only the first one.
Yeah, only the first.
Is that true, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
And the other ones, are the other ones true?
Somehow, yes.
Somehow. All right. You ready with yours? Or you are still, you'll tell us later on. If you'll tell us if hers are true.
Okay.
Okay. Where, Did you help her? 30%? 80? Okay. Who else is done? Oh, yeah, you said you were done. Let's hear.
What am I reading out? Everything.
I asked him if he's comfortable with sharing. Now it sounds like you are worried.
No, no, I'm actually asking. Okay, at the top it says the commander.
You are the. Just hold on. Where is he now? Oh, Chief, you did not. Just call him, please. What did they say? What did they say? Are you a commander or what are you? Visionary. He's a visionary. Okay. You are the. Don't worry. It's just him. You are the commander.
Okay, the commander, a natural born leader and likes being in charge, lives in a world of possibilities, project-oriented and focused on the task at hand, logical and thoughtful before taking action, can be a bit of a perfectionist, well-developed communication skills.
Now she's looking at she's listening to all of this and she's saying, yes, yes. Okay, you are? Can you read for him?
Okay, I'm reading on her behalf. For her it says, the provider, a true extrovert and social butterfly, sensitive, energetic, helpful, and sociable, popular and well-liked, very true, compassionate and empathetic, very true, extremely organized with difficulty dealing with uncertainties, very true, always ready to listen with a warmth and genuine sensitivity, actually all quite true.
Okay. I'm not a sangoma. It's not me who said all of those things. Now, the characteristics that he is defined as the commander and she is defined as the provider. Now, when he was explaining that he's sometimes a perfectionist, all right, him being a perfectionist can cause distress for her. She's saying it's true. The fact that he wants to work out the whole thing, and if it's not done by him, then you must leave it. It can become a problem to her. It can be a cause of distress for her. Are we okay? All right. Sir, can I ask you a question quickly? Do you like going out, or do you feel it's better if you guys stay at home? We are at church, just remember.
I prefer to stay inside.
Do you prefer to go out?
No.
Please tell truth.
I prefer him to go out.
You prefer him to go out? When you... Hey.
No, like, I prefer him to go out, even just to visit a friend on a Sunday, but he doesn't do it.
Okay. You want him to go out?
Just for fresh air.
Just for fresh air. Yeah. Do you see what is happening? He, to a certain extent, is an introvert. She is an extrovert. She likes, to be around people and be, as you are saying, I want him to go out just for fresh air. He's laughing. What does it say you are there?
I'm the giver. I'm the giver.
You are the giver.
Yes.
Okay. And you are, let's hear some of the characteristics.
It says here, influential, loyal, reliable, and genuinely kind, passionate and firm in ideals and principles, highly intuitive and reflective, warm, caring, generous, and people-focused, extremely organized with difficulty dealing with uncertainty, good communicator.
Is it true?
She can testify.
She says it's accurate. Let's hear, ma'am.
I'm the inspector, physical and mentally organized, excellent planning skills and highly intellectual, calm and clear-headed during tense situations, serious and committed in relationships, believes in traditions and strives to follow them, well respected in the community. I don't know about that one.
Okay, so how does that work for the two of you? The differences.
It works very well.
How long did it take you to come to grips with the differences and to manage them?
It did not really take us that long.
Yeah. Well, I think it did not take long. I think maybe because of our Christian background, you are able to adapt and learn quickly.
Right? Yeah. Thank you. Now, friends, who else is here? You got yours ready? Let's hear. He is the visionary. Let's hear. You are the giver.
I'll share the first one. Influential, loyal, and genuinely kind.
It looks like in this family you only like the first one. Yeah. Now, I'm sure you've picked up that there are some very positive characteristics that are there, and that there are some of them that can cause trouble if you don't manage them. Okay? Because if you are a commander, a leader, and that trait is very strong in you, it can become a challenge, especially if you have set your mind on something and nobody's going to turn you from that. All right? It looks like you want me to come to you. I'm coming. It will be bad if I only talk on this side. Are you okay if I come to your side? You have it ready?
To check, okay, is it this one?
Yeah, those are the ones.
Characters down.
Yes. You are the mastermind. Yay, good, let's hear.
Able to absorb extremely complex theoretical material, supreme strategists who are logical, rational, and future-oriented, strong inside intuitions which they trust implicitly, values knowledge and efficiency, very high standards for performance which they apply to themselves, most strongly reserved and detached from others, and bored with mundane routine.
Is that true, ma'am? Most of them are true. Okay. Do you have yours? Okay. You will help her to do it at home. Yeah. All right. You were ready. You've been ready. Let's hear.
Do I read mine? Yes. Okay. Number 1 says.
You are the what? The commander. You are also
Yes.
the commander.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was same as him. The natural born leader and likes being in charge.
All right. You'll do the first one. Okay. And yours, my sister?
The mastermind.
You are also with him. The
Yes.
mastermind.
Number 2 lives in a world of possibilities, project oriented and focused on the task at hand, logical and thoughtful before taking action, can be a bit of that guy, well developed communication skills.
I think we've heard the mastermind also. All right, now, let me ask you something. Did you know these things about yourself before we started talking about them now? Some of you were aware of them. You did not know them before we started talking about them? Remember, these characteristics are good, but they can become a problem if you don't manage them properly in the context of a relationship. Because the character traits that we have, the way we are, you don't think about it at all because it's the way you are. There are certain things that you do without thinking about them. Let me use a simple example. The ladies who came with their cars in here, can I see your hands, please? You drove. Ladies who came by car. You were the driver. Okay. You know where you parked your car. Okay. Now, the men who came here, you drove. You are the driver. Can we see the hands, please? All the men. Good. You are going to see what happens tonight when we leave. The men are going to get into the car, start the car, reverse out and leave. Women, you are still going to try and figure out this thing. How did I come in here? Why did I park like this? I told myself last time, I will not park like this because now, how do I get out of here? Is it true? Yes. It's a simple example of the differences between us. Remember, you are sitting there wondering, how am I going to do this? The reason why we just get into the car and do the thing without thinking. We've been playing with cars all our lives. One of the first things we were given to play with was a car. So we were trained for that thing. We even built roads ourselves. Those of us who did not have cars played with bricks and stones, and we pretended that it was a car. And we reversed with the brick. Now, you guys played with what? No driving, nothing. So the differences between us, it's a simple example. It's a very simplistic example of the differences between us. All right? Now, let me use a more complex one. Your husband grew up in a home where there was male dominance. His father was the commander in the house. You come from a family where you had female dominance. Your father might have been there, but he was not the leader. Your mother called the shots. The two of you get married. Now, the thing that he liked about you the first time when he met you is the fact that you take charge. And the thing that attracted you to him is the fact that when that guy walks into a room, he owns the place. And so the two of you get married. The very thing that attracted you to each other becomes the cause of conflict between the two of you. You are accustomed to female dominance. He's accustomed to male dominance. In his thinking, there is no way that his house will be run by you. In your thinking, your home worked perfectly well with your mother running the situation. So, what attracts us to each other can become a cause of distress in our setting. And I'm speaking specifically to how we manage our differences. And especially when it comes to conflict. Some of our ladies, when we are in conflict, your voice is here. Not because you are singing soprano. You want to make sure that this guy understands who is in charge here. Especially if you are more educated than him. What, did I say something wrong? I'm hearing people saying, what does that mean? It's just us. The kids are not here, so we are talking. Listen, especially if you are more educated than him, or if you earn more than him, or if you think that you know better than him. And so when there's a conflict situation, somebody is trying to win the situation, and so someone's voice is here, whether it's his or yours. And what happens in the conflict situation is the very thing that attracted us to each other is a cause of distress now. You are now taking charge. And he's standing his ground because he's used to owning the place when he walks in. Now, there are two people here in this place who are not moving anywhere. One is in charge and one owns the place. Do you see what happens to us? And therefore, it's critical then that we understand the differences between ourselves. And our differences are not necessarily a bad thing if we know about the differences. Okay, when me and my wife talk, we normally miss each other when I become meticulous about what is being said. In other words, when I listen to you, I don't only listen to the words, I listen to the tone of voice, I listen to the nuances, I listen to intonations, I listen to punctuation, I listen to all of that. And so, instead of me hearing what is being said, I'm hearing what is wrong with what is being said. Because I begin to analyze what is being said. And I'm even hearing people, the intentions that the woman does not have. I'm beginning to read into what she's saying. Anybody here in the room who knows what I'm talking about? Yeah. Hey, the ones who are raising their hands, it's not because you are innocent. I know you are raising your hands because you know what I'm talking about. It's not because you are innocent. So I'm talking to this person, the person is talking to me. Because I am meticulous, I deal with details and things. I'm now beginning to deal with the details. All right? And so the person becomes emotional. Now, with me, if you take out a gun now and you put it to my head, I will remain calm under that situation as if you are pointing your finger at me. I don't scare easily. So, my being calm becomes a problem because it communicates to this person that is upset that I'm not with the situation. Brethren who remain calm, are you here? Yeah, the brethren are here. I am extremely calm now. This person is hysterical. And after being hysterical, the person becomes historical. You know our wives become historical. Listen, she starts telling you about 5 years ago, you did the same thing. And he's calm. He's very calm. And you can't understand, why is this guy so calm? Can't he hear that I am not happy about this? He can hear you. It is just that he's not minding what you are saying. So, our differences can be a cause of distress, but it can also become something beautiful if we know how to manage the differences. How do we manage the differences? Those of you in the room who went for premarital counseling, can we see your hands, please? Before you got married, you went for premarital counseling. Okay. The pastor or the person who counseled you, excuse me, that person did a temperament test with you, isn't it? Is it only you who went for a temperament test, elder? Others look uncertain about what I'm saying. Remember, the personality test that we did this evening is a different version of what you underwent during your premarital counseling sessions. The pastor or the counselor might have used a different instrument, but it's the same thing. You became aware of the differences between you and your person before you got married. And you still decided to marry that person, isn't it? Why? Sorry, say again. It was too late. It was too late. Now, I have a colleague. I have a colleague. When you go to him, a young couple, they come to him and they say, Pastor, can you please counsel us? We have our date set for September, this, that, and the other. The pastor tells him straight, no, I'm not doing that. Now, I've asked him about it. He made it very clear. If you are going to counsel people who have a date, they're not listening to anything that you are saying because they have a date. If I leave him now, the whole, I've paid the whole already. The cake. I've sent invitations. How do I explain to the people that this thing is no longer happening? The dress, I've been dieting for 3 months for this dress. I've been going to gym to exercise. This dress now. I went for 3 fittings already. And now this pastor is saying this man is going to kill me. I'd rather die. We are going ahead with this thing. And these are the complications that happen during the premarital counseling process. So we become aware of the differences between us during the process. Even when you go to Frey, you know what Frey is? You don't know what Frey is? I don't know how to explain that in another language. Listen, when you go to visit during the courtship period, you become aware of differences. You see how this guy behaves when he's at home. You see how she behaves when she's at home. And you are in denial. You knew he was like this before you married him. You told yourself you are Jesus. Let me explain what that means. You told yourself, I will change him. You are not changing anything. He's still that way. You are not changing him. It's only Jesus who can change people. Are we okay? Now, if you are a commander, you can become a better commander under the commander Jesus. If you are a mastermind, you can become a better mastermind under the source of all wisdom, who is Christ. Because the bad thing about being a mastermind, because you are sharp, you can outsmart your partner when it comes to arguments. With all due respect to the masterminds. You can outsmart the partner. And the partner realizes 3 weeks later, but this guy outwitted me. And then has an aftershock and gets angry because 3 weeks later now the person is discovering that I was outsmarted by this person. Okay, now I think we've dealt extensively with our differences. You remember your number, eh? You have your number. Now, not all of us are at number 1. Not all of us are at number 2. Not all of us are at number 3. And some of us have been at number 10. But we are now moving backwards. We are probably at number 5 or at number 4. Some of us have gone through serious difficulties. Some of us are at number 10 now, or at number 9, or at number 8. Regardless of where you are, I want to explore with you a biblical model for marital love. I am convinced that the answer to marital distress is for us to actually love each other biblically. Are you following? Now, I want us to look at Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5 is in the New Testament. Ephesians chapter 5. It's in the New Testament. It's the book before Philippians and it's after Galatians. It's one of those letters written by Paul. Now, when you listen to it, when you actually explore Ephesians 5 from verse 25, you will pick up on a number of things. One, the why of marital love, the motivation. Why do we love each other? Listen to what it says. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, that he might present to himself the church in all her glory, having no spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that she would be holy and blameless. That's the motivation for loving our wives. By the way, I have not seen an instruction in the Bible where wives are instructed to love their husbands. Have you come across it? You've not seen it? If you find it, please share it with me. Because I've checked for it and I couldn't find it. We are told to love each other in general. But there's a very specific instruction for husbands to love their wives. It's not a suggestion. It's an instruction in the Bible that husbands must love their own wives. And here is how we should love our wives according to Scripture. The Bible says we should love our wives in the way that Christ loves the church and gave himself for the church. In other words, Jesus died for the church. And the instruction of the Bible is that we should love our wives in a sacrificial manner, and that our wives should become better because we love them. I can tell you now that your wife and my wife and everybody else's wife in here, she does not wear the same size dress that she wore before she met you. Does she? She has improved. No, she did not increase. She improved. She improved. If she was still that way, we would have a problem with you, because your wife has improved because of your love. She is a better version of herself, or should be a better version of herself because of you. The intention of us loving our spouses or the wife that you have is for her to become a better version of herself. If your wife wants to study and educate herself, who should be her greatest supporter? You. Who should be typing the assignments? You. Who should be doing the research? Listen. No, I'm using our example. I remember when we were at Heidelberg, my wife was doing primary health care at Stellenbosch University. I was a full-time student. We had our children. I worked 3 jobs on campus because I was a self-sponsored student. And because I was taught how to type, my wife was not taught how to type. She would write her assignment and then give the assignment to me to type it after typing my own. You see, when she gets now the diploma in primary health care, who's getting some of that money that she's earning? Because the Lotuzana is increasing now. The salary is increasing because of the qualification. Who's benefiting from that? It's us. Do you see what's happening? When we love our spouses, they should become a better version of themselves. Now, here is what I have said, and I'm saying this very carefully. I must repeat. I'm saying this very carefully. If you are going to protect your wife against unwanted attention, you need to give her attention. When another gentleman gives your wife attention, he has a number of problems. One, he is contending with your influence. First, because you've known her for the last 20 years, he's meeting her today. Oh, lady, you're so beautiful. Yes, I know. What do you mean? No. The man I've been with for the last 20 years, he's been telling me that for the last 20 years. Come with something else. What again? You have a nice figure. A hair is because of him that I am so improved. The guy is contending with your influence first. Now, if your influence is not powerful and strong over this person, you have a challenge. Because the reason why women move away and get involved in extramarital relations or relationships is not because the guy is better than you. Sometimes she even gets involved with an ugly guy. The guy is giving her attention. These people want attention. Let me repeat it. They want attention. I love you. You are beautiful. You look nice in this dress. Every day. Hey, it's hard, man. These people want attention. Hey, my wife is angry with somebody at work. Now I must listen to all of that. She's even talking about things that I don't understand. They're using medical terminology. I don't know about that. I know about Greek and Hebrew things. You can wake me up in the middle of the night and discuss the Shema and the Tetelestai and all these things. I know what's going on. Now you begin to discuss things of the hospital. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm not supposed to know. The person just wants to vent. That's all. These people want attention. That's all they want. So, the instruction that we are given, husbands, love your wives in the same way that Jesus loved the church and gave himself for it, to fix the church, to cleanse the church, and to present the church as without spot or blemish. In other words, what should happen is, if I mustn't say this one. If you want a wife with a nice figure, go to the gym, two of you. It's a problem when you need to deal with other people's figures, because remember, if you get another girlfriend thinking that she's better than your wife, the problem with that is, as soon as you have her, she becomes like your wife. Follow me. We had this conversation. We're driving from Uppington, from Kimberley. Myself, Pastor Lupondwa, and Pastor Williams, we were driving. And so we had an interesting conversation about a certain gentleman who had a girlfriend. And so he was complaining, saying, my girlfriend has become like my wife. They were now living together. He had divorced the wife, started living with the girlfriend. The girlfriend, the minute you stay with her, becomes an exact replica of your wife. Because you are no longer just sleeping and going. You are staying. And the minute you stay with one of these people, same story. She has the same needs, same outlook on life, same expectations. It's now no longer sex, because it's a transactional situation. You're having sex and you leave. When you stay with the person, it becomes another story altogether. She wants attention also now. She also wants money for hair. She also wants money for shoes. Same story. Husbands, love your wives. Now, this is the why. The motivation is the love of Jesus. How? Look at it. Verse 28 and verse 29. So husbands ought also to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his own wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ also does the church. Did you get that? So, if you take the Bible the way it's written, if you take care of yourself, you go for a haircut every now and again, you check your suits, you take them to the laundry, you take care of yourself physically, that there should be replicated in how you deal with your wife. If you take the Bible the way it's written. The why of loving our wives is Christ loved the church and died for it. The how, the way we love ourselves. So if we have challenges loving ourselves as men, it will reflect in how we relate to our wives. Are we together? Yeah, that's a serious thing. How? Where? This one is an uncomfortable one. I hope we don't have any in-laws here in the room. If they are, this will help in-laws. The Bible says that we are members of the body. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and shall be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. In other words, the Bible instructs that we should abandon the relationships that we have with parents and cleave unto each other. In other words, we need to develop a unique and separate identity with our spouse. I'm sure you know that in-laws can cause drama. Ne? You are not admitting that? Okay, let me give you an example of it. We had an argument with my wife, and she told my aunt that we had an argument, and then my aunt told my mother, and my mother called me. And then my mother was very upset on the phone and started talking about my wife. So I said to my mother, "Ma'am, if I can advise you, please stop this conversation. Because if you continue with this conversation, I'm going to have to end the phone call. Because the person you are talking about is my wife. Secondly, you are talking about the mother of my children. This is the person you are talking about. You're not talking here about some person there from the street. This is my wife you are talking about. You can't talk to me about my wife in the manner that you are talking about her. I will not tolerate that. Not even from you as my mother. It's my wife you are talking about here. So I'm asking that this conversation stops now, please." The conversation ended there. From that day onwards, my mother, even to this day, has never had the courage to even discuss my wife with me in a negative sense. I stopped it from day one. You can't have anybody, even if it's your blood, attacking your spouse, and you are there and you are not defending your spouse. Because if you allow that conversation, and if you are part of it, that conversation will get to your spouse. The spouse will hear that something was said about him or her, and you didn't say a thing to defend your spouse. It's dangerous for you to do that, because the Bible instructs you to abandon these relationships, to put distance between yourself and these relationships, and to be joined to this person. Because if you love that person, you are loving yourself. And if your parents are able to talk about your spouse in that way, they are not talking about your wife or about your husband, they are talking about you. That's the person they are talking about, because the two of you are one. You can see me after church if you want to fight about that one. That's a serious one. And it's not easy to do. It's not easy to stand your ground and to say to your family members, "No, I don't accept the fact that you are attacking my spouse. I don't accept that. Your spouse might be wrong, by the way. And you might hate your spouse at that point. By the way, those of you, that's us now. If you are married to a Christian husband or wife, those people don't get sick. They pray. You are also praying, Lord, just let her die in her sleep. She's not going anywhere. Those people don't die. They drink water, they eat healthfully, they do all those things. They frustrate you from time to time. Listen, love the person. Sir. Now, here is the reward of loving this person. Listen to what the Bible says. This mystery is great, but I'm speaking with reference to Christ and the church. Nevertheless, each individual among you also is to love his own wife, even as himself. And the wife must see to it that she respects her husband. The gentlemen were waiting. When is he coming to that one? I am here with it now. I'm here with it. One of the major causes of marital distress is when your husband feels undermined. Hey, I remember I was driving on the R300. So my wife calls me and says to me that my in-laws are coming. So I asked, but when did we discuss that? I can't receive an announcement that people are coming to my house. Where have you heard of that? I can't get an announcement that says other people are coming to my house. In my thinking, that is something that we discuss, isn't it? So I'm getting an announcement that says people are coming to my house. So I said, no, you can't give me such an announcement. We were supposed to discuss this. What if I arrived at home now? Because I was on my way home. What if I arrived at home and came and said to you, listen, I have paid a weekend away for us. You have already made arrangements with other people to come to the house. The thing that messes up your husband is when he gets a sense that he is nobody in his house. And do you know how he realizes that he's nobody in his house? When you have to instruct the children to listen to him. Follow me. That was too fast. He realizes that he is not the head nigger in charge in his house when you have to tell the children to listen to their father after he has spoken. Then he realizes that he's not the commander in this house. There's some other person who's in charge in this house. And do you know how children know that they shouldn't have respect for their father? They see it from their mother. It is modeled. Respect is modeled. If you teach your children to respect you and to respect their father, and then you model something else, they will do what they saw you doing. Now, some of us are church leaders, and the only place where you are in charge is here. We will, okay. I have I have to wrap it up. The only place where you are in charge is here. And I'm going to say a dangerous thing now. Sometimes people fight for church leadership because it's the only place where they experience respect. We need to help our husbands, because your husband becomes a better version of himself when he experiences your respect. No other respect means as much to him as the respect given to him by his wife. He is a manager at work. Everybody listens to him. When he gets home, he is in trouble. And we at one of our family gatherings, one of my mother's cousins said in Afrikaans, "Daar by die huis moet ek alles doen wat sy sê."